The moment Amy feels her chest tighten, the world around her slows down, and somewhere far away, a presence she thought was gone forever begins to pull her back. This is not just a medical emergency, this is the night Heartland changes forever. Amy is standing at Heartland Ranch, surrounded by the quiet sounds she has known her whole life. The horses are calm, the wind moves softly through the trees, and everything looks normal. But inside her, something feels wrong. It is not pain at first, it is a deep pressure. Like her heart is carrying too much emotion at once, she tries to ignore it, telling herself she has been strong for so long and she can handle one more hard moment. But the feeling does not go away. Instead, it grows heavier with every breath. Amy places her hand on her chest, confused by how suddenly her body feels weak. Her thoughts begin to drift and memories she has buried start to rise. She remembers laughter, promises, and love that once made her feel safe. Her body reacts before her mind can understand what is happening. Her knees buckle and the world around her starts to fade. The ranch, the horses, and the land she loves blur together as her heart struggles to keep going. This is the first sign that something bigger is unfolding, something tied not just to her body, but to her past and her deepest emotions. As Amy's strength fades, the atmosphere around her shifts in a way that feels unreal. Time seems to slow, and the silence grows louder than any sound. In this moment between consciousness and darkness, Amy feels a presence that feels familiar, warm, and comforting. It is not a voice. It is not a clear image. It is a feeling that wraps around her heart like it knows her pain. Her breathing becomes shallow and her heartbeat turns uneven. This is the exact moment when her heart begins to fail. It is not caused by physical weakness alone, but by years of emotional weight finally crashing down at once. Loss, love, and unfinished grief collide inside her chest. Her heart cannot carry it all anymore. As she slips closer to unconsciousness, her body gives in and her heart stops. This moment is quiet, not dramatic, but deeply powerful. It shows that Amy has been holding herself together for far too long. The ranch that once healed her now watches helplessly as she falls. This is the turning point where the story moves from survival to something far more emotional and personal. While Amy's body lies still, the world around her feels frozen in fear. Those nearby sense that something is terribly wrong even before they fully understand it. Panic spreads quickly, but it feels distant, like it is happening underwater. For Amy, everything becomes calm and dark, yet strangely peaceful. This calm is not empty, it is filled with emotion and memories that refuse to fade. Her heart stopping is not just a medical event. It represents how close she has been living to the edge without realizing it. She has been strong for everyone else, carrying responsibility, pain, and hope all at once. Now her body is forcing her to stop. In this space between life and death, Amy is no longer fighting, she is simply feeling. Love, regret, and longing move through her like waves. This moment suggests that her heart has been waiting for something or someone to help her let go of the pain she never allowed herself to face. This opening chapter of the episode sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. Amy's heart stopping is not the end, but the beginning of a deeper journey. It signals that season 20 is ready to confront emotions that have been left untouched for years. The calm before the storm is over, and the story is about to move into territory that is raw and emotional. This moment forces everyone connected to Amy to face the reality that strength has limits. Even for someone as resilient as her, the ranch, once a place of healing, becomes the silent witness to her most vulnerable moment. As the episode moves forward, the question is no longer just whether Amy will survive, but what this moment will awaken within her. Something lost is about to return, and this near-death experience is the door that opens it. Heartland is no longer just about holding on. It is about facing what was left behind and finally allowing healing to begin. As Amy slips deeper into unconsciousness, the world around her no longer feels solid or clear. Everything becomes distant, like she is floating just outside her own body. Sounds fade first, then shapes, until only emotion remains. In this quiet space, Amy is not scared. Instead, she feels a strange calm, the kind that comes when the body stops fighting. Her heart has stopped, but her mind is still holding on to something unseen. This moment is not about doctors or machines yet. It is about what happens inside Amy when life pauses. Years of pain she never spoke about begin to surface, the loss she buried deep, the love she never fully let go of, and the strength she forced herself to show every single day all rise at once. Her heart did not fail suddenly, it reached its limit. In this stillness, Amy feels a connection that does not make sense in normal time. It feels warm and familiar, like being wrapped in a memory that refuses to disappear. This presence does not need words. It feels like comfort, like understanding, like someone who knows her better than anyone ever could. Amy's mind drifts through moments of happiness she thought were gone forever. Not as sharp memories, but as feelings, safety, trust, love without fear. These emotions move through her in waves, pushing against the darkness. Her heart may have stopped. But emotionally, she is more alive than she has been in years. This is where the meaning of the scene becomes clear. Amy's heart stopping is not only about danger, it is about release. For so long, she carried everything on her own shoulders. She held the family together. She saved horses. She supported others while quietly breaking inside. This moment strips all of that away. There is no responsibility here, no expectations, just truth. And the truth is that Amy never truly healed from what she lost. She survived. But survival is not the same as living. Her body forces her to face that reality now. As the seconds pass, her heart remains silent, but her emotions grow louder. She feels pulled between two worlds. One is the life she built by being strong. The other is the love and peace she never allowed herself to return to. This struggle happens without words, without clear images. It is raw and personal. It suggests that something unresolved is calling her back, not to escape life, but to help her finally confront it. This moment hints that her heart stopped not because it was weak, but because it was tired of carrying pain alone. This section of the story changes how we see Amy forever. She is no longer just the strong center of the family. She is someone who has been silently hurting for years. Her near-death experience is not random. It is deeply connected to her emotional journey. The show uses this quiet, powerful moment to tell the audience that healing cannot happen without facing the past. Amy's heart stopping becomes the bridge between what she lost and what she still needs to find. And when her heart starts again, nothing about her life will feel the same as before. The moment Amy's heart stops, everything around her changes. Even for the people who are still standing, the air feels heavier, like the ranch itself senses what has happened. Panic begins to rise, but it moves slowly, almost carefully. As if no one wants to accept the truth right away, someone calls her name again and again, hoping she will answer, hoping this is just another moment where she pushes through like she always does. But this time, she does not respond. Her body is still. And that silence is louder than any scream. The strength everyone depends on has suddenly disappeared, and no one knows what to do without it. As help arrives and the reality becomes clear, fear spreads through the people who love her. This is not the kind of fear that comes from danger alone. It is the fear of losing the one person who keeps everything together. Amy has always been the calm in the storm, the steady heart of the family. Seeing her like this forces everyone to face how fragile life truly is in this moment. There is no control, no plans, no solutions. There is only waiting. Waiting to see if her heart will start again, waiting to see if they are about to lose more than they can handle while the outside world rushes forward. Amy remains suspended in a quiet place between life and death. Time does not move normally for her. Seconds feel endless, and emotions drift without shape or order. She is not thinking about the future or the past in a clear way. Instead, she feels everything at once: the love she gave, the love she lost, the pain she never spoke about. Her heart stopping has opened a door she kept locked for years. There is no running from it now. This is the moment where her soul finally slows down enough to feel the weight of everything she has been carrying. This scene is not meant to shock with action. It is meant to hurt quietly. It reminds the audience that grief does not disappear just because time passes. Amy learned how to live without showing her pain, but her body remembers what her mind tried to forget. The heart stopping becomes a physical sign of emotional exhaustion. She has been strong for too long, and now that strength has cracked. This moment forces the truth into the open. Amy is not unbreakable. She is human, and she has been surviving instead of healing. As the tension builds, the meaning of this moment becomes even clearer. This is not just about whether Amy lives or dies. It is about what happens if she lives. Can she keep going the same way she always has, pretending that the past no longer hurts, or will this moment change her forever? The show uses this pause between heartbeats to ask a deeper question. What happens when someone who carries everyone else finally needs to be carried? By the end of this section, the emotional weight is impossible to ignore. Amy's heart stopping has shaken the foundation of everything she knows. It has forced the people around her to see how much they depend on her, and it has forced Amy, even in unconsciousness, to face the truth she avoided. This is the breaking point that pushes the story forward. Whatever happens next, the version of Amy who wakes up will not be the same woman who collapsed at the ranch. This moment has changed her, whether she is ready for it or not. As Amy lies between life and death, the world she has built begins to shake in quiet but painful ways. The people who love her are forced to stand still and wait. And waiting becomes the hardest thing they have ever done. Time stretches painfully slow, and every second feels heavy with fear. No one knows what to say because words feel useless. In a moment like this, the ranch, once full of movement and purpose, feels frozen. It is as if everything is holding its breath, afraid of what the next moment might bring. The reality of how much Amy means to everyone starts to sink in. She has always been the one others turn to. The one who fixes problems and brings calm when things fall apart. Now that she is silent, the emptiness she leaves behind is impossible to ignore. Each person nearby feels it differently, but the pain is shared. There is guilt in the air, quiet thoughts of things that were never said. Moments that were taken for granted and times when her strength was assumed instead of protected. This crisis forces everyone to see Amy not as the strong one, but as someone who needed care and understanding just like anyone else. This moment also exposes how deeply connected Amy's heart is to the land and the life she lives. The ranch has always been more than a home, it is part of who she is. Seeing her fall here makes the moment even more painful. This is the place where she healed others, saved animals, and found purpose after loss. Now it is the place where she collapsed under the weight of everything she carried inside. The land stands quiet, almost mourning with them, reminding everyone that even the strongest roots can crack under pressure emotionally. This section shows that Amy's journey is no longer just her own. Her heart stopping sends shockwaves through everyone connected to her life. It becomes clear that her strength has held more together than anyone realized. Without her steady presence, fear creeps in and uncertainty takes over. People begin to understand that loving someone strong does not mean they do not need help. It means they often need it more because they hide their pain so well. As hope and fear battle in silence, this moment begins to change how everyone sees the future. If Amy survives, nothing can return to the way it was before. This experience forces a new understanding. Love cannot be silent. Support cannot be assumed. Strength cannot be demanded without cost. Amy's heart stopping becomes a lesson written in fear and pain, one that no one will ever forget. This section closes with a powerful sense of emotional reckoning. Whether Amy wakes up or not, something has already changed. The people around her are no longer blind to the weight she carried. The ranch is no longer just a place of healing, but a reminder of how close they came to losing the heart of their family. This moment prepares the ground for what comes next, a future where Amy's life, her pain, and her healing can no longer be ignored. When Amy's heart finally starts again, the world does not rush back to normal. Nothing feels simple anymore, even breathing feels different. Like life itself has changed its meaning, this moment does not reset the story. Instead, it opens a new chapter that cannot be closed. Amy surviving is not a victory in the usual sense. It is a warning, a reminder that her old way of living almost cost her everything. Season 20 uses this moment to clearly say that survival alone is no longer enough for her. Something deeper must change. As Amy begins her slow return, the emotional weight of what happened stays with her. Even without words, her body remembers the moment her heart stopped. She may wake up surrounded by familiar faces, but she is no longer the same person who collapsed at the ranch. There is a quiet shift in her presence. Her strength feels different. Now, less forced, more fragile, but also more honest. This experience has stripped away the idea that she must always be strong. For the first time in a long while, Amy is allowed to be vulnerable without shame. This moment also reshapes the future of the Fleming family. They can no longer rely on Amy to carry everything on her own. Her heart stopping forces them to face their own roles in her life. Love can no longer be passive. Care can no longer be assumed. Each relationship begins to feel more intentional, more aware of how easily time can run out. Season 20 uses this emotional shock to rebuild the family dynamic from the inside. The family is still strong, but now that strength must be shared. The meaning of the storyline goes beyond one episode. Amy's near-death experience becomes the emotional foundation of the entire season. Every decision she makes moving forward is shaped by this moment. Her work with horses, her connection to the ranch, and her relationships all carry a new weight. Healing is no longer something she gives only to others. It becomes something she must finally accept for herself. This shift is quiet but powerful. It shows growth that feels earned, not rushed. This section also hints that some connections never truly fade. The emotions Amy felt while her heart was stopped do not disappear when she wakes up. They linger, guiding her forward in subtle ways. The past is no longer something she is running from. It becomes something she can face without breaking. Season 20 uses this experience to bring emotional closure, not through dramatic speeches, but through understanding and acceptance. By the end of this section, it becomes clear that Amy's heart stopping was not just a scare. It was the story's way of pressing pause and forcing truth into the open. Life at Heartland will continue, but it will move forward with more honesty, more care, and more emotional depth. Amy's journey is no longer just about endurance. It is about learning how to live fully again, even with loss, even with pain, and even with memories that will always remain part of her heart.